So again, context around when you're watching this. I get it, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's December. And so this is not the last video of December yet. I wanted to basically reflect back a little bit on the year in 2021. And I'll tell you what, there's something that's still just the gift that keeps on giving, right? What better time than Christmas? Talk about the gift that keeps on giving. And I look back and I reflect back on where things have gone the last 2 years, let alone the last year. And no matter what's going on, I'm going to tell you cancels. Cancels are one of the three biggest value sucks in your business. There are three places you're losing money, hand over fist, money you've already spent. That's the worst part about cancels. And that's the way I want you to think about them. So cancels are actually a 2 times multiplier. People always say, oh, someone canceled, that was $100. And I'm like, no, that was money spent. That was time spent. That was energy spent to engage someone who said, I want your help. I need your help. They took a slot on your schedule and then they canceled. That's $100. And then that was $100 for the other person that should have been there, flat out $100. And by the way, if your schedule's empty and you're not thinking that way, then you're just going to go down this path. Cancels is the gift that keeps on giving. They haven't gone away. Problem hasn't gone away because people aren't addressing it properly. So let's start here. You don't want to manage cancels, my friends. You want to prevent cancels. So there's your number one takeaway. My Christmas gift from you, from me to you 2 weeks early. You stop managing cancels and prevent cancels. That's the mindset. So who needs to who needs to prevent these? Who is in charge of thinking about the cancels so that it can be prevented? And it is your team, my friends. Cancel is not a metric for your providers. Cancel is not a front desk metric. Cancel is a team metric. So there's another mindset shift, number 2. Number 1 is they are not to be managed. They are to be prevented. Number 2 is it is a team effort. And if you went through my Selling the Planet Care workshop, I went into this hard. Whether we talk really, it's funny when we talked about getting agreement and completed plans of care, part of that means less cancels. If I'm going to get completed plans of care, people can't be canceling and just lengthening, watch my hands go outside the view, can't be lengthening their plan of care. So part of success on a completed plan of care, one of the results of that mindset will be less cancels. What I talked about and what I want to talk to you today briefly about is this team approach to cancels. Because the best way to get someone to agree to and complete a plan of care is to have them bought in before they arrive. You guys ever heard this? You guys know a guy talking about this shit a lot of times, right? Right. So the best way to get someone to agree and complete a plan of care is to have the trust at a maximum level. No, have trust up. Let's just say it's not going to be maximum. Have trust built and have uncertainty decreased. If uncertainty is decreased and trust is up, then the likelihood of an arrival increases. First visit arrival, second visit arrival, third visit arrival. The likelihood of an arrival increases as trust increases and as uncertainty decreases. Increased certainty, right? Plain and simple. There are only 3 reasons people cancel. It has nothing to do with time, distance, or money. It has everything to do with fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Yes, you heard that right. You're being told that people cancel because of time, distance, or money. I'm like, nope, go a step higher. That's not deep enough. That's not high enough, right? You're not going to solve a problem because then everybody who calls from outside a certain zone, you're like, fuck it, don't schedule them. I'm like, nope. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty. People will travel for an expert. People will pay for an expert. People will make time for an expert, right? And that's a whole nother topic altogether. Selling an expert, not the commodity, which gets to this team approach. I guess it's not a topic, might be part of the topic today, right? Who sells the expert? The front desk sales team, the front desk team members, the front desk sales team sells the experts, not a commodity. If you're selling the expert, right? That time, distance, and money thing becomes less of an issue. But why? It's because I'm building certainty and I'm building trust, and time, distance, and money become less of an issue. So if we're just focused on time, distance, or money, we're not going to win. We're a commodity. If we focus on fear, doubt, and uncertainty and building certainty and increasing trust, then we'll get at the core issue of why people will waste your time, money, and energy by canceling. So cancels are a team effort, and the effort must be focused throughout their journey in your business. You guys all realize all these recordings are just the same thing. If you go back, it's the same thing every time. It's just the emphasis and it's in a different place. If the focus is where they are in their journey, then you will know the conversation that needs to be had. If you don't know where they are in their journey, you're just checking boxes. Just get them to arrive. I'm like, nope, not even. Just get them in the door and I'll take care of it. That's called burnout, my friends. That leads to burnout. And it's a waste of your time, money, and energy, and a huge waste of their time, money, and energy, because not everybody who calls a clinic is a right fit. Watch a video from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Not everybody who calls a clinic is a right fit. Not everybody who calls a clinic should be on the schedule today. Should be scheduled this week, next week. Shouldn't, right? By the way, that's a great way to get a cancel. Be in a schedule mentality. It's the schedule mentality that puts people on a schedule that end up no-showing, cancel, dropping off. Who does that? The front desk team. Why? Because you tell them. You tell them. You tell them to get people scheduled. What do? They get people scheduled. Then you say, get your fucking cancels down. It's like, what the fuck? I scheduled them. Why are they canceling? Well, it's on you. I scheduled them. Right? Here we go. And this is the thing I say, it's the gift that keeps on giving. People, I still get a text, a message, probably on average every week, because some weeks it's more. I need help with my cancels. My response always is, do you want to manage them or do you want to prevent them? And I always get a lot of dead air, which is a good thing, because then someone's going, oh, wait a minute, I never thought about it that way. Right? That's what I want you to do, is start going, never thought about it that way. I don't want to manage cancels. I want to prevent them. Manage versus prevent, right? That's the number one mindset. And number two is it's a team effort, not an individual expert. So where are they in your journey, in their journey, sorry, where are they in their journey with your practice, with your business, right? And what is the responsibility of the front desk, which I covered a little bit? Sell the expert, right? Build trust. Increase certainty that they're making the right decision, right? Get rid of that cognitive dissonance, because that's what uncertainty leads to. Right? Start challenging biases and beliefs and stuff. Best way to decrease uncertainty is to do what? Not schedule them for a diagnosis, aka find out what problem they want solved. And then the number one, A+++ way to increase uncertainty, to increase certainty, rolling a lot of those words together, is to then manage and set expectations. You cannot manage and set expectations without asking more questions. You can't wait for them to tell you. When is the last time someone told you they wanted to see an expert who will give them a diagnosis and will tell them a plan back to their goals? Never. There are parts, I listen to calls every day, listening to a lot of calls these days. Maybe this is part of where this is coming from. But people never say, hey, I want an expert who will tell me my problem and give me a plan. Wouldn't it be nice? But guess what the research says? Everybody wants that. My friends, I'm going to challenge you on this too. There's some great research, some of my favorite researchers putting out about great attributes of physiotherapists and all this. And I get it. We all suck up on the easy side of that stuff. I got to tell you, there's a big, long list. And it's funny to see the conversations going, right? It's funny to see the conversations going around, right? What people want. Oh yeah, they want good communicators. They want empathy. And I'm like, but that's the hard, that's the easy work. How are you going to deliver that? Well, right. And that's what I'm telling you right now. Increasing certainty is the goal of the conversation. Oh, I need empathy and I need to listen. I'm like, great. To what end? To what end? And if we get to that with our front desk team, by the way, there's still very little research and very little posting about, great, what do people want in a great provider? I'm like, cool. And then ... when they get that, if the rest of the team is mean or nasty or doesn't pay attention to them and their experience is good, how likely are they to return? And we all know that. Go back and read reviews. Go back and read reviews of your local PT clinics. Go back and read the positive reviews. Did they get better? No, it's always about they listened, they cared, they made it about me. I'm like, that's the end game, right? That's the end game of these skills. And when we do those things, we decrease fear, we decrease doubt, we increase certainty, we increase trust, which leads to what? Decrease cancels, decrease drop-offs, decrease no-shows. This is a team approach, my friends, and it must start with your front desk team members. We must know where they are in their journey so we can set up the conversation properly to move them into the next phase, which is to the expert, to the provider, right? So your front desk team is not doing a subjective exam. Your front desk team is not asking people for their story or tell me what you want. Your front desk team is gathering very specific information and doing it in a conversational way by listening closely to make sure to set up an expert who will deliver the things those patients want, an expert who will tell them their problem and will give them a plan, and that they know that they are going to get that when they arrive. Certainty increases, trust increases, fear and doubt decrease. Then they show up for their first visit. Ding, ding, right? Objective one complete. Now, we got to make sure we connect the dots and the provider knows what to do with that information and now how to manage this person through an evaluation. I'm not talking about treatments. I'm not talking about number of visits. I'm talking about how to talk to someone through an evaluation while they're doing all these things to make sure that they know they're the expert. So they make sure and give them the problem. So they make sure and give them a plan of care. This provider takes this information that was collected by the front desk team, takes the expectations that were set and managed, and uses that as the foundation to jump off of, as the platform to jump off of, to do what? Continue to build trust, continue to increase certainty, and continue to decrease fear and doubt, and to prove to and to deliver to this person the expectations, deliver on the expectations that were set by the team member before they arrived. And then on every visit, aides, assistants, front desk people, providers have to continue to build on this. To do what? To continue trust. By the way, once you build trust, it's an ongoing thing. Remember, losing trust, once you build trust, it's very hard to get back if you lose it. So you got to keep delivering. And it's not difficult to do. It's, again, continual managing and setting of expectations and more questions and better listening. This whole cancel enigma thing, I just solved it for you in under 30 minutes. Literally, that is the solution to cancels. It is that simple. And by the way, cancels will never be zero. Cancels are always going to run somewhere between 5 to 8%. Why? Because you can't be someone's priority every day, nor should you be. People have jobs, people have families, people have kids, people have other responsibilities. So you have to understand, as the business owner, clinic manager, to budget in 5 to 8% cancels. That's your 0 point. Cancels will never be zero. So yelling at people every day to get the cancels down, it's like, what's your cancels? By the way, and I'll finish with this, you must account for every cancel. A cancel with a reschedule is still a cancel. A cancel that's not rescheduled is still a cancel. They need to be gathered up together and then broken out. Someone moving from one slot to another is still a cancel, because if that slot is empty, right? By the way, here's the deal. If that slot is empty, that's that 200, 2 times loss. If someone else comes into it, it's still a loss. It is still a loss. That person who came into it should have been somewhere else. Cancel. Cancel with reschedule. Cancel, no reschedule. You must track them all. Step number 1. Step number 2, you must budget for 5 to 8% cancels. And in your setting, peds clinic, some of the neuro settings, it needs to be higher. Why wouldn't you just budget it in instead of fighting it every day? See where the trends fall, do the work to get it down, and then see where it should be and set that as your zero line. But until you do all this work I just started with at the beginning of this, you can't set your zero line. And the zero is not the starting point. Never will be. The other two things I want you to remember, right? So there ended up being 4, is the mindset between managing and preventing cancels. And then the idea around the team approach to cancels instead of individuals. It's the gift that keeps on giving, my friends. And that's why, and this is a recap of probably like 5 videos that are buried in this YouTube, are in my YouTube page. Sorry, this YouTube page, my YouTube page, right? Yet I wanted to bring it all together because it's still been one of the bigger things I've spoken about and been asked about in 2021. And it's one of the things that never goes away. There's been huge changes over the last 2 years with the conversations I'm having with people. But the cancel thing, right, is not one of them. Prevent versus manage. Team versus individual. Track properly. Budget properly. And go from there. But again, watch this. It all starts with what? Understanding your patient's journey within your business and the connectedness. Because all that information your front desk team is doing to prevent the cancel, we got to make sure and pass it on. So that even more so, right? Trust from the moment the first phone call, I call it that trust trajectory. You can't deliver people to the clinic on the trust plane. They got to be going here. And then the provider just keeps it going. So how much trust can you build before someone arrives? And what's needed for trust, right? Here we go again, right? Expectations, problems to be solved, right? Cost, what they'll get for their time, money, and energy. I listen to calls every day. We have an obligation to listen better. I went through this last week. We have an obligation. We're in healthcare. The people you hire have an obligation to listen better. The secret callers I'm doing, be unacceptable in fucking non-healthcare sales settings. It's funny. Everybody always wants to bash on sales. I'm like, I got people selling a lot of shit. I know people selling a lot of shit with more empathy and better listening skills than a lot of people at front desk in healthcare. We owe it to the people calling us to ask better questions and listen better. Because this is the other thing, and I already said it in here, just putting people on the schedule is not solving a problem for them. Not at all. Burning their time, money, and energy, burning your time, money, and energy for them to come in and go, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm dealing with clinics this month, man. 12, 15, 20% cancel drop-off rates, man. It's funny. That's the other thing I'll leave you with, right? Everybody tracking cancels. What's your drop-offs? I don't know. I'm like, well, there are a boatload of cancels who never come back before a completed plan of care. That's called a drop-off. So let's go again. Cancel, reschedule, cancel, no reschedule, cancel, never come back. There you go. There's a huge takeaway for you today if you sat through this. If you measure those 3 things, you'll know the health of your business every week. Drop-offs are the canary in the coal mine. Drop-offs are the biggest tell of your current client patient's experience in your business. The majority of people I ask, no matter what they're tracking, can't give me a number for drop-offs. I'm like, you got people answering the phone, you got PTs in the back, and nobody knows the drop-off rate. Well, we pull a report every month, but it's not accurate. I'm like, how can it be accurate? They were on the schedule, they fell off. 1, Mrs. Smith. 1, Mr. Jones. 2. That is money. Again, that's double. The expense that goes into a drop-off is insane. So again, these value sucks in your business. And when you go to sell this business, you're going to get fucking lowballed because your EBITDA will reflect the drop-offs. I just talked to someone recently who wants to sell his business and he's pissed because he didn't get a bigger multiplier. I'm like, fuck, easy problem to solve. Get a bigger bottom line, my friend. That's going to be my big pitch for 2022. Who the fuck cares about the multiple if your bottom line's big? And if you have all awareness around your bottom line, then you know what offers to talk to and who to talk to. Or if you even want to put it up for sale, you're like, man, with this bottom line, I'm going to have to argue all day long for a bigger multiplier. I'm going to spend the 6 months just driving up my bottom line. How? Cancels, drop-offs, no-shows. Those are all team efforts. So again, you got a lot in here right? 2 weeks left in December in 2021. Start doing some of these things I told you. I gave you 4 things so that on January 1st, you don't go and look at this January 1st and lose a month. You hit the ground running on January 1st. That's why I'm giving it to you now. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah just ended. It's kind of cool. My birthday every year is around Hanukkah. So people are lighting candles and giving each other gifts. It's cool. So all those things, Kwanzaa coming up, all good things. All right. Good time of the year. Good time of the year for you to look for places to quit flushing money down the toilet, which is a cancel. And by the way, if you cancel 5 to 8% cancel rate, went through all of them. And again, you have this process in place. That's not money flushed down the toilet. That's cost of doing business. It's like fucking credit card fees. And then you budget for it. And then you can budget better. And then you can have your team numbers better and your projections better because you're budgeting for stuff that's going to happen. And you know what the roof is. And if you set it at 8 and it's 6 1 month, you're like, sweet, money I didn't count on. But yeah, people being people. We can't be someone's priority every day. That's cool. We shouldn't be. It's so funny. We wouldn't do that for anybody else. Maybe a spouse or family. But then we expect everybody to do it for us. Why are you canceling? Why are you canceling? It's like, car broke down. Someone calls me and tells me their car broke down. I don't question them. Go, sorry to hear that. So again, why don't you make cancels the gift that quits giving in 2022 for your clinic? And if you guys want to have a chat, you can message me, you can reach out. But man, this is a big part of what I do for my clients every day. And a lot of times it's cool because the work we do flows down to all of these things I spoke about today. Training the front desk, training the providers, getting the rules of engagement in place, building out the systems and processes. The connectedness of all this changes multiple business metrics. Regardless of what you want to measure, pretty much can change it. I'd be hard pressed to think of a metric you could give me that wouldn't be changed by this mindset and this approach of this team, understanding where people are in their journey, managing and setting expectations, increasing certainty, increasing trust, decreasing fear and doubt. There aren't many business metrics I'm thinking right now that aren't going to go in the direction you need to if that's where your focus is. And so it's cool when my clients come to me and say, I need help with this. I go, cool, let's talk this out. And they might be talking about something further downstream. And I'm like, cool, let's start at the beginning. Let's make sure we make this thing fucking bulletproof. The way to bulletproof your business is to run a fucking business, regardless. Said this, by the way, I was recently looking at a boatload of stuff I put together right when COVID hit and pre-COVID. And I'm like, running a business was your best defense against COVID, running a true business beforehand, doing all this stuff, putting people first, all of it, understanding these people that were coming, all of it. That's the way to bulletproof your business. You don't need online products to bulletproof your business. I digress just a skosh. Maybe that's my next one. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Cheers to you all, and start preventing those cancels.